Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become.
I wish for you a life rich in all the things that matter.
One day when Jay was very sick, he turned to me and said, you know, nothing really matters except your friends and your family. It is the people in your lives and the love you share that will truly be the measure of your success. Graduation day, 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears culminate in cap and gown, pomp and circumstance, and maybe an inspirational speech or two from icons like Michelle Obama and Steve Jobs. But for millions of graduates, it also means a heaping pile of student loan debt and a very tough job market. Let's see a show of hands. How many of you took out loans to pay for your college education? Okay, I guess the majority of you. Well, you're in good company because about 70% of college students borrow money, which adds up to a whopping $1 trillion of debt. Is college even worth it? More and more people these days are saying no.
These billionaires are some of the most successful college dropouts in history. Hollywood portrayed Mark Zuckerberg's success in The Social Network. Zuckerberg, along with tech moguls Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, didn't need a cap and gown to make their mark on the world. Ted Turner never graduated from college, but he had his own school of thought. He started CNN, Turner Broadcasting, and even bought a baseball team. How's that for hitting a home run?
For Atlanta.
This ball's gone.
Meanwhile, world news came from a trusted voice that we invited into our living rooms every night.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the fate of a single individual.
A college degree? Not necessary. Walt Disney drew on his imagination, not higher education. He created the world's most famous mouse and an empire known around the globe as the happiest place on earth. Dustin Hoffman? Not the real-life graduate. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck didn't finish at Harvard, and Anne Hathaway also called it quits. Couture queen Coco Chanel never attended college, and neither did polo creator Ralph Lauren. Over $6 billion later, he's still riding high. This music mogul makes his millions critiquing with only a degree of certainty.
And the ridiculous dancers did that stupid choreography. It made it gimmicky.
And with a net worth of nearly $800 million and growing, Jay-Z and Beyonce skip college classes to build a business empire that runs the world.
Who run the world? Girls, girls. Who run the world? Girls, girls.
So maybe it's time we face the music and ask the question, is college worth it?
Tatiana Ali is an actress, singer, and Harvard graduate and a big advocate for higher education. Jim O'Neill is the co-founder of the controversial Peter Thiel Fellowships. Marc Lamont Hill is an associate professor of education at Columbia University. You can give it up, Columbia kids. And Dale Stevens was one of the first recipients of a Thiel Fellowship. He's the founder of the Uncollege Movement, which he writes about in his new book, Hacking Your Education. Welcome to all of you. Nice to see you. Okay. So, Jim, I know the Thiel Foundation gave Dale here and 19 other students $100,000 to drop out of college. Why?
We decided to get more smart people involved in technology as entrepreneurs, as inventors, as people who can really make a difference in lots of industries. We needed to create something new, and that's what we're trying to do.
Marc, as a professor at Columbia, it seems antithetical to everything you believe in. What do you think of this whole program?
I like the idea of encouraging innovation. I like the idea of encouraging the next generation of technology makers, of entrepreneurs. I think that's awesome. But I don't believe that you can do that without a solid educational base. Now, it doesn't always have to be college, but a lot of times it is. And I worry that if we incentivize people not to go to college, then we lose out on possibilities to help nurture and grow that next generation of change makers.
Dale, I know you decided to apply for a Thiel Fellowship and drop out of college. Why was that?
I initially left college because I was frustrated with the learning environment. I found that people were there not because they genuinely wanted to learn, but because they didn't know what else to do. And I found it really hard to be engaged and to learn and to be innovative when people weren't there because they genuinely wanted to be there.
And what about you, Tatiana? I know that you were in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You had a great career going in Hollywood, and you decided, you know, I'm going to give that up for now and go back to Harvard. What made you want to do that?
I'm still an actress, and I'm still in the arts, but I'm also a producer. And I have to tell you, even being an actress, even having played Ashley Banks on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I couldn't go into the offices I go into now without the credentials of saying I did go to college and I did educate myself and I know what I'm doing when I walk into this door. You can take me seriously.
Jim, not everybody is cut out to necessarily go into tech or be an entrepreneur. So do you think college is really wrong for everyone or just not for everyone?
I think people should think clearly about what their choices are, what their opportunities are, and what the costs are, whether it's worth putting your career on hold for 4 years. For some people, absolutely. College is the right answer. For other people who may just sort of follow along with their friends, it may not be the best way to use their money and their time.
Here's my only concern. At 19, you may not have the foresight to know whether or not you legitimately need to drop out of college or whether or not you're probably just being 19. I dropped out of school at 19, and I undersold myself. I did it for free. I didn't do it for $100,000. And I really wish that I had stayed. You know, I dropped out for all the wrong reasons, and I think that if I had someone offer me something to lure me further away from college, I may never have gone back.
But at the same time, Mark, college is so expensive. Why does it cost so darn much to go to college these days?
Well, I mean, the simple answer is because they can, right? I mean, there's no outside forces. Other labor gets exported to China. There's competition globally. There's really no global competition for college. People in the United States have to go to these schools, and so the best schools, the Harvards of the world, or even better, Columbia, they will, they'll charge what they can. Now, what you'll see over the next 10 years is new options presented. You have the online universities, you have these other options, you have these mass YouTube-based educational settings. That'll drive the cost down because there's more competition. But right now, they have the market cornered.
You travel, Tatiana, around talking to kids about college, so give us your best pitch about why you think college is worth it.
There is nothing like being amongst your peers and being in a place where all you have to do is read and write and learn. It's the only time in your life where that's really your #1 responsibility. It's a time for incredible growth, and if you use it well, which includes being social, it includes being scholarly, and if you use that time well, I mean, you can go from that. You can do whatever you want to do. Your horizons are completely open. And in this country, it helps to say, I can do this, and here are my credentials saying that I can.
Isn't there something to be said, Jim, to try to learn just for learning's sake?
Absolutely. Learning is valuable for its own sake in addition to its value in the workplace. But our economy is really broken. It is not going to fix itself. Government's not going to fix it. The solution is much more technological innovation. But in the meantime, people need to make smart choices. If you're thinking of buying a house, it is a major decision that you should think very carefully about whether it's the right decision for you. And I'd say the same thing about college. Even if you love learning, think carefully before you take on that much debt.
That's not necessarily a good investment is what you're saying.
Exactly. For some people, it can be a great investment. For other people, not so much. And all we're asking people is to think very carefully about what options you have and how much they all cost.
Different perspectives, interesting advice, and important, I think, for all these students. Tatiana, Jim, Mark, and Dale, thank you all for coming in today. Really appreciate it. Interesting conversation. Thank you.